Hey everybody, Karen Legitimacy here from New Moon Self-Development Center, and I just wanted to cover a very important topic if you are planning to unlock your inner badass. There is one little word that is actually the first thing that you need to do in order to make that a reality. So for those of you who know me, I have spent a lot of time in my past helping people and coaching people with dyslexia, as well as all of the other things that I've been working on as well. But words have become actually kind of a fascinating thing for me. So I do like to hey, whoever's on, could you just let me know who's there so I can say hello? But words are actually something that I find really fascinating, and I like to kind of dissect definitions and give them maybe new meaning and apply them to how we work in the world. So with this group, the whole goal is to kind of dig deep within inside. Hey, Kara. And to really go as far as we can into ourselves so that we can find that piece of us that is big and that we are going to shine our light and help people just by doing that. So simply by being your authentic self and really feeling confident and shining your light, you will help people. But my guess is that you have other amazing skills and abilities that you can really bring to the world and apply when you actually step out and accept that part of yourself and be willing to share it with the world. So let's talk a little bit about that one little word. And does anybody have any guesses on what that word might be? I'm going to see. Kara, any guesses? Anybody else out there? So, not seeing any guesses. So, I am going to go ahead and spill the beans. There is a word. It's actually in the, it's actually something that I wanted to cover with respect to a suffix. So, there is a suffix that when you actually look at the suffix and you see what it means, it's kind of like, ooh, there's a whole lot of negativity that can be surrounded by the suffix, and that suffix is side, C-I-D-E. And some of the words, if you actually look up what words that end in side, they're words like genocide, pesticide, herbicide, homicide, suicide. So these are all words that are, negative in a lot of ways, especially if you're a health nut like me. Pesticide is like, not a good thing, herbicide. So there are tons of other words in our language that end in that suffix, and they all have the same basic meaning, which according to the American Heritage Dictionary is side is a suffix meaning a killer of. So as I was scanning down that list of words that end in side, there's one word that doesn't quite fit. It ends in side, but it doesn't quite fit in with the rest of them. And that word is decide. So to decide is a word that is amazing when it comes to unlocking your inner badass. And it is a word that is positive, and it is the one thing, the first thing that you need to do in order to unlock yourself and your light. Surprising? Okay, so the word decide has tons of different meanings as well. So to make a final choice or judgment about something, to select as a course of action, to bring a definitive end. And I would say a definitive end to chaos, uncertainty. And lastly, to make a choice or judgment. So I want to add to the definition for the purpose of this video. And I want to say that decide means to make a conscious choice to create change. It is a killer of procrastination, of self-doubt, and of mediocrity. So the very first step in getting off of the treadmill of fear, anxiety, overwhelm, procrastination, self-doubt, all that negative self-talk, and the ability to align your higher self, your inner badass, and your amazing talents and your skills and abilities is just to decide. Decide that you are sick and tired of not living up to your incredible potential. Decide that you are going to take the steps to eliminate all of the blocks that are holding you back. Decide that you are worthy of having a phenomenal career, an amazing love life, or just being worthy of having financial freedom and being able to do the things that you love in your life. Decide to embrace your gifts, embrace your talents, and decide that the world is worthy of receiving them. Decide to help people with those gifts. We all have them. We all have a unique purpose and a unique gift and talent to bring to the world. And by holding it in and by being wishy-washy about it and saying, yeah, but well, what if I mess up? Or what if I don't do it right? Or what if I'm not educated? What if enough? Or what if, what if? That's being wishy-washy. And no progress can be made without having a launching pad of a firm decision. A decision that, yes, I am going to move forward with this. So, decide that you are a badass. That you can no longer deny the world of your gifts and talents and your awesomeness. So, decide to step into power and pursue your life's purpose. I mean, what are we here for? Are we here to be on the treadmill of just going throughout life and, not really having that fire or being able to express that fire? Decide to be happy. Decide to be grateful, excited, joyous. Decide to be awesome and be in the highest possible vibration that you can be in. Because when your vibration is high, you benefit everyone around you. So lastly, I would just say, so just decide to do whatever it takes to really, as we're going through this and as we're in this group and we're trying to get to the point where we're really, connecting with our inner badass, just make the decision, decide that you're going to do it. And what happens when you decide is that you are actually telling your identity, your mind, your higher self, the universe, you are telling yourself what your intention is. And intention is huge. We're going to be talking about intention as we go along in this group, but intention, you really can't be living a meaningful, you can't be manifesting the things that you want in your life if you're not setting the intention to have that or do that. So I can absolutely assure you that to decide is the first step in getting started with this process. So when you are in your badass mode, there is no wishy-washiness. This is, you know, bam, you've decided. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to like come out blazing and surprise everybody, because I know that we've all been in you know, kind of hiding at some point or another. We all tend to kind of go inward sometimes when we're maybe not feeling 100% confident or whatever. So it doesn't mean that you have to come blazing out, although if you're ready to do that, go for it. But taking some steps, at least. I remember a couple of years ago, I was just so ready to, I was completely tapped into my inner badass, but I was really fearful of putting myself out there. And, you know, in my businesses, I've always tried to be very professional, and one of the small things that I did to kind of like start my showing my inner badass was I got my nose pierced. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's weird. It's backwards on the computer. But anyway, so that little thing that I did was huge for me on the inside. And it was really funny because after I got it done, I was expecting it to be this big deal, and hardly anybody noticed. So I remember I went to a family party, and someone said, you know, something, and I said, well, you didn't even notice I got my nose pierced. And they said, oh, what? I thought you always had that. So sometimes we show our inner badass and we don't even think we are. So it may not be as dramatic as you think, but in any case, it's important for you to be feeling like you are showing yourself to the world. So with that being all said, I have a little thing here that says, failing to decide is to be the killer of your dreams, and it is the quickest path back to mediocrity. So deciding will start and trigger the process where you will start to feel the magic. Once you set your intention and you decide, your identity will be searching for everything in the environment that matches that intention. Prior to making that decision, if you have wishy-washy conflicting things going on in your thoughts and in your beliefs and in your, you know, you're going to be attracting all kinds of experiences that might be, that are going to be wishy-washy. They're not going to be consistent. So sometimes you might have a great day and other times you might not. So we just really need to make a decision. A while back, I had written a blog post about making decisions. And it was more along the lines of making decisions that were, you know, that you could, more practical, let's say. So I just wanted to go over a few of those little tips and then apply them to what we're talking about right here. So the first thing was that you can map out your decision. So start by evaluating the decision to be made. What are the details? What are the consequences? What are the results that you want to get? Well, so in this case, when we're talking about unlocking your inner badass and bringing, not just unlocking your badass, but also bringing your amazing skills and abilities and ideas to the world, really need us. What are the consequences if you don't unlock your badass? So think about that for a second. Think about the people who will not receive your help. Think about what it feels like to go through, you know, your life, the rest of your life, and never show that part of yourself to the world. There's a comfort zone that we get into, and we really need to look at that and say, okay, I'm comfortable right now, but am I thriving? Am I really doing what I'm meant to do? Am I excited about my life? Am I happy? Am I joyous? Am I giving what I can, what I'm meant to give to the world? So that would be a good thing to map out and to really think about. The next thing is, very, very practical. Weigh out your pros and cons. It is this process totally tried and true. So anytime you have a big decision to make, very easy. Just write out your pros and cons and it will make it really obvious. But again, so with this, like write out the pros and cons. What are the pros and the cons for unlocking the light within you and discovering and unlocking your inner badass? What are the pros? You feel amazing. You know, you're able to shine your light. You raise the vibration of everyone around you. What are the cons? You're stuck on the treadmill. Nothing changes. And the fourth bullet point, practicality, was consider your motives. So while evaluating your pros and cons, consider what motives may be contributing and weigh them accordingly. So one of the things that was brought up in my article was facing your fears. So perhaps, you know, whenever we're making a decision, the thing that will hold us back is fear. But perhaps facing that fear is actually in the pro column, right? Because what are we trying to do here? We're trying to break through the blocks that have held us back in the past. So we are going to come up against fear. It's just going to happen. But when you have made a decision and you have tapped into that deeper part of yourself that knows what you need to do, then we can get through that fear. And we can get through that fear together because we're in this group and this is what this is all about. So give yourself a deadline was number 5. And sure, give yourself a deadline. But I would say now, what better time than right now to make the decision to go for it and to really start to take the steps that it takes to be your authentic self and show it to the world. And look at your decision as part of the bigger picture. Oh, the sun just came out. So nice. And so what are the short-term things that might be affected by your decision, and the longer term? And with unlocking your inner badass, it's both. But the long-term effects of being yourself and bringing your gifts to the world, you can't even count, you can't even measure that. So I would just encourage you to look at that and to think about that bigger picture and where you want to be. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And are your actions and are your, if you don't decide to unlock your badass, are you going to get there? And if you don't decide to make the changes that are necessary, where will you really be in 5 years? And so that about wraps it up. So thank you so much for watching. And when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired of not shining your light, and you are ready to plow through your blocks, your belief systems, and all of those things that hold you back, and you want to do that in a very powerful way that will get really deep in and be very quick, actually. If you want to power through those blocks, I actually have an online program that I am just so excited that is launching January of 2018. And so if you are ready and you are at all interested in signing up for that, please PM me and I will give you more information. And in the meantime, just keep tapping in and shine that light. All right, thanks. Bye.